Good day, all of you. The session is regarding intermediate chemistry. We are discussing about the various questions which are collected from the authentic sources with the solutions. A clear explanation will be provided to you. This will be fetching for your any entrance and competitive exam in the international floor. And India is conducting every year, yearly twice. JE Advanced, JE Mains examination, that is for IIT, NIT entrance engineering stream, technical domain it will be, across India it is applicable. NEET chemistry will be there, that is a medical entrance across the India. So there also the content will be helpful. Telangana and Andhra Pradesh governments are conducting MCET examination yearly once. That will be helpful for your engineering stream, that is BTech entrance examination. In addition to all this, if you're aspiring any government job, where government competitive exams will be conducted. In that, general studies question paper will be there, common for each and every aspirant. In the general science content will be there. The session what we are discussing will be very much helpful for you. Explain the name of coordination complex as per the IUPAC protocol. Here, the compound was given. This is purely coordination complex. Coordination complex stands for any complex when added to water, it remains its identity, right? So it will not be ionized, remains its identity, that is said to be coordination complex, which are bounded with the coordinate covalent bond mentioned with the what arrow. So this is the way coordination complex will be shown. What is the name of this complex? It is the cationic complex mentioned for the chromium, and the water and the chlorine behaves like a ligands, right? For this IUPAC protocol, coordination naming is required. So first of all, in order to name this compound, we have to identify what are the ligands. What is ligand first? Ligand stands for any of the substance having natural tendency to release at least one lone pair of electron is said to be a ligand. Chloro having tendency to release one electron pair, and water also neutral ligand, so that it will release one electron pair. So these are the ligands which are present around the chromium. So we have to pronounce Cl as a chloro and water as a aqua. It is mentioned as a aqua. Okay. If you go for naming the compound, again we have to follow alphabetical order. Alphabetical order among C and A, which will come first? Obviously, aqua will come first. And moreover, how many water you can notice? Water taken 4 times. So that, let me mention tetra aqua. Here water is taken 4 times, so that we can say tetra aqua. How many chloro you can find? 2 chloro will be there. So that, let me mention dichloro. Tetra aqua for 4 water molecules, dichloro for 2 chlorine atoms. Okay, what is there? What is the metal atom over there? Chromium is the central metal. So that, let me say chromium. So immediately, just followed by the metal, we have to denote its oxidation state. Around the central metal, what oxidation state you can find, that to be mentioned. Here, 2 chloro contributes 2 negative charges, and moreover 1 positive charge is also there. That's the reason why, in order to compensate these charges, chromium should acquire 3. Okay, plus 3 charge to be mentioned on the chromium. Okay, central chromium is accompanied by the plus 3 oxidation state, and moreover it is the cation. So that, let me say ion, right? Let me give the entire name of the compound: tetra aqua dichloro chromium 3 ion. This is the right naming for the given chromium complex as per the IUPAC protocol. Move on to second one. Second question collected from Cambridge Assessment International Education Platform. This is the question related with the analytical chemistry and in specific chromatography. Chromatography is the technique which used to purify the substance, identify the mixture and separate the mixture, and also completion of the reaction. So many applications you can find, and moreover, chromatography is the technique you can find the column chromatography, gas chromatography, paper chromatography. In this manner, high pressure liquid chromatography. So many methods are available, right? Chromatography is the advanced technology in order to identify the compound purity, the extent of reaction completed, feasibility of the reaction, and separation of the component. Separation of the component first invented technique. Okay, so that's the reason why the name chromatography is mentioned. Chrome means what? Chrome means a color, right? Chromatography stands for a separation of colors. So initially the technique used for the separation of colors, whenever you are taking the drop of leaf, so pigments will be there, colored pigments. You are taking different leaves like this. So different leaves were taken and all together got grounded. After grinding that one, you can extract the juice. A drop of juice will be taken and kept over this kind of paper. Here is the paper, you can clearly see, which is called a chromatographic sheet. Okay, so this is the chromatographic sheet on which you have to put a dot. Whenever dot was kept, and this is the sheet inserted into a jar, which is called chromatography jar. So in this only, so in this equipment only we have to elute. Okay, a suitable solvent is placed over, and whenever you are inserting, always having capillary action so that liquid is coming up. Whenever liquid is traveling along, those pigments also can move. Whenever pigments are moving, what happens? They have their own way of movement. That means their own speed of movement. All the pigments not able to move in the same velocity. That's the reason why different pigments will be arranged in different positions so that you can identify how many pigments are present in the given mixture of that leaf extract. So this is the way chromatography technique was evolved. Nowadays, we can use for so many kind of techniques, especially in the research, laboratories, medical field. In the so many areas, chromatography plays a vital role. Okay, so this is the question regarding chromatography. Complete the diagram which is mentioned over there, where the spot of colored solution is placed on the paper. So colored solution spot we have to introduce the level of the solvent in the beaker. So we have to, wherever level of the solvent is there, there we have to put a dot, and it should be inserted like this. This is called a lid. We are having provision to close and open, right? And there is a beaker which is transparent in nature and having tendency to elute the solvent. A baseline was drawn with a pencil. Here is the line you have to draw with the pencil so that you can insert a dot over this pencil mark. Chromatography paper was taken. This is said to be a chromatography paper. The question is, explain why pencil we have to use. Pencil we have to use to draw the baseline, right? Why we have to use the pencil baseline and the chromatography paper. Why pencil used? Why can't we use pen? That is the question. In order to explain, first of all, the technique about chromatography is mentioned. Chromatography is the method of analysis and separation technique of organic and inorganic compounds, either organic or inorganic, whatever the kind, you can go for the separation method. Chromatography meant for the separation first, right? It is used for the large and small quantities, either bulk quantity material column chromatography we can use, a small extent of compounds you can use the paper chromatography, or else this kind of thin layer chromatography as well, right? So here, quantitative and qualitative estimation is possible, proved to be more effective from other means of separation and identification. It is more accurate way of separation of different components whichever present together, right? So this is the main intention for the chromatographic method. You are supposed to separate all the components individually, which are kept as a mixture initially, right? So either quantitative or qualitative. That means by measuring the exact quantity, how extent substance is there, your measuring is called a quantitative estimation. So just how many components are there, you are identifying, that is called a qualitative estimation without any measuring weight or volume or anything, right? Both the possibilities you can find for chromatographic method. Quantitative analysis, exact quantity of substance, whatever present, that you can analyze, or else how many substances are there, that also you can do. So this is the way chromatography can be performed. Now, the question is, why can't we use pen rather than pencil? Always we need to use pencil in order to draw the baseline, because whenever pen mark was kept over there, you are placing a pen mark as a baseline. Pen ink is made up of what? Pigment only, that is the colored pigment. So that pigment having natural tendency to elute along with the mobile phase, so that can interfere with the substances whichever you want to examine, so that pen usage is completely prohibited in the chromatographic technique. Otherwise, this pen pigment will eluted along with the solvent, so that we can't analyze, we can't identify how extent the examining substance or sample substance is traveling, because this pen pigment also traveling along, so that we must avoid the pen. Rather, pencil is safe for the examination in the chromatographic technique. Move on to the question number 3. Question number 3 is collected from JEE Advanced 2018 question paper. Paper 1 question it is. It is somewhat lengthy seems. Okay, so how can we answer this? Treatment of benzene. The benzene taken as a starting material and treated with carbon monoxide and hydrochloric acid. This is called a Gotterman-Koch reaction. Benzene will be turned into benzaldehyde. In the presence of AlCl3 and copper chloride, these are AlCl3 is the catalyst and copper chloride is the co-catalyst, we can say. Followed by the reaction with acetic anhydride and sodium acetate. This is the Perkin condensation reaction. Benzaldehyde will follow Perkin condensation, gives rise to a compound which is alpha beta unsaturated as a major product. The compound acts upon reaction with bromine in the presence of sodium carbonate, followed by heating at 473 Kelvin with the moist potassium hydroxide, furnishes Y. Just now, in the previous session, we identified what is Y as a major product. Reaction of X, this material we are taking, whichever formed by this Perkin reaction that was taken, and that X compound is treated with hydrogen, palladium, carbon, followed by H3PO4 called phosphoric acid, giving Z as a major product. The compound Z is Y already we identified in the previous session. In this session, we are going to analyze the compound Z. What is Z over there? That to be identified. This is another stream of reactions. Let's see how can we answer this question. The starting material is benzene actually, that should be treated with carbon monoxide and hydrochloric acid, so that benzaldehyde will be formed by Gotterman-Koch reaction. Whenever sodium acetate and acetic anhydride treated, and these are the reagents for the Perkin reaction where condensation is carried in between, so that we will get cinnamaldehyde. This is called a cinnamic acid, carboxylic acid, right? Cinnamic acid is the product which is alpha, beta, unsaturated one. Hydrogen palladium. Hydrogen palladium is the mild reducing agent. It is specific for the double bond and unaffecting this carboxylic acid. Carboxylic acid reduction is not possible, rather only double bond will be reduced, right? So that we will get what? Propanoic acid. 3-phenyl propanoic acid will be generated. After getting this one, treat with phosphoric acid. What phosphoric acid will do? Phosphoric acid is meant for dehydration. So whenever water removed, obviously it will be cyclized in a 5-membered ring structure. So this is a pentanone ring. So benzo-fused pentanone ring will be generated. So this is the expected product in this. So that is given in the option number A. So initially benzaldehyde, Perkin reaction giving cinnamaldehyde, and reduction, double bond will be reduced. Phosphoric acid meant for dehydration, so that ring cyclization giving a 5-membered ring with a ketone. That is exactly mentioned in the option number A. For question number 3, option A is the right answer. Move on to question number 4. So many series of reactions are given over. We need to identify what is what. Okay, so many reactions are there. Okay, so here the starting material in this entire reaction is P. P is supposed to be treated with hydrogen, palladium, carbon, and P is supposed to be treated with thionyl chloride, methyl magnesium bromide, and cadmium chloride, sodium borohydrate, so that Q will be formed. Hydrochloric acid, magnesium ether. This is the preparation of Grignard reagent. Carbon dioxide in dry ice will be treated, and followed by water will be added. R will be formed. So we have to identify what are the products over there, right? So the compound R is R to be identified. R to be identified. In order to identify the R, the expected answer is A. A is the answer where you can find methyl. What we can say? what we can say, this is the carboxylic acid. Okay, so this is isopropyl carboxylic acid is there, and here isobutyl substitution is there on this benzene. How can we achieve? Let's see. The starting material P, that is C11H12O2 can be taken. C11H12O2 can be easily oxidized to dibasic acid. So it can be easily oxidized to dibasic acid, which reacts with the ethylene glycol to produce the polymer dacron. So if you are going to synthesize the dacron, there is a hint for us, and it will be taken as a kind of carboxylic acid. Dacron is the kind of polymer, we can say. Polyester as well, which is synthesized from phthalic anhydride or and ethylene glycol. By taking these materials, you can synthesize so that it is the kind of substance like this. Okay, so here the starting material will be taken where benzene is having this carboxylic acid, which is said to be a benzoic acid, and here we have a condensed product. It can be treated with hydrogen, palladium, carbon. Whenever hydrogen, palladium, carbon, and we already aware, it will not affect carboxylic acid, rather selective for double bond. So that palladium, carbon, hydrogen is a mild reducing agent to reduce double bond only. So mm, this will giving only double bond reduction. Here is the clear, detailed mechanism is provided step by step. Here, direct after these many four steps, this will be the expected product. After these many four steps, this is the expected product. So let me split all these reagents in an individual order so that we will go for what reagent is doing what. Okay. Initially, hydrogen, palladium, carbon is a mild reducing agent. Double bond will be disappeared and unaffecting this carboxylic acid. Later on, I am going to treat with thionyl chloride. Thionyl chloride is called SOCl2, which is the chlorinating agent. It will convert carboxylic acid into carboxylic acid chloride. So this is called acid chloride. Acid chloride further treated with methyl magnesium bromide. What is the methyl magnesium bromide? This is Grignard reagent. What it will do? Grignard reagent always having tendency to attack at carbonylic carbon, so that it will be turned into OH and CH3. C double bond was Cl turned into OH and CH3. Now let me add a reducing agent to sodium borohydride. Sodium borohydride is specific for the removal of the chloro, so that we will get OH and CH3. Chloro got removed over there. We will get OH and CH3 at the center, and we are not affecting any other end because it is unreactive. No reactive functional groups are mentioned, and it will be treated with hydrochloric acid. Hydrochloric acid will exchange OH with the chloro so that it is a simple nucleophilic substitution. OH minus is replaced with chloro minus, and it will be treated with methyl magnesium in the presence of diethyl ether. Magnesium metal in the presence of diethyl ether solvent. Ether solvent is used. This entire compound looks like a alkyl halide. This is called alkyl. This is called chloride. Alkyl chloride treated with magnesium, so that what happens, Grignard reagent will be formed. So entire compound remains the same. Only magnesium inserted in between carbon and chlorine. Simply I inserted like this. After that, this Grignard reagent now treated with carbon dioxide. Always, carbon dioxide is a reagent whenever treated with Grignard reagent that generates a carboxylic acid. This is the expected product R, CH3, CH3, C double bond O, OH. So that is mentioned in the option number A. For question number 4, option number A will be the correct answer. Move on to question number 5. Question number 5 is collected from Telangana government conducted MSET examination in 2023. Which of the following inert gas is used in diving apparatus used by the scuba divers to avoid the bends and toxic effects and a high concentration of nitrogen? Scuba divers are used to consume the air actually, but so whenever they are diving very deeply inside the marine region, what happens? So because of high pressure, that air may mixed with the blood. So it causes so many adverse consequences. In order to avoid the usage of inert gas is required. What inert gas we are using? Being helium is the lightweight, so that it is easy to carry, and it can easily transport it, so that helium is the most suitable inert gas for the diving apparatus. So it can be filled in the diving apparatus in the scuba divers. Sorry. So let me explain the detailed description why we are using helium, why can't we use direct air. Okay. Air, already everybody aware, air is the mixture of gases. Air is composed by nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide in the minute quantity, and traces of noble gases also present. So maximum content is nitrogen only if you are taking air, right? So whenever this air is consumed, especially in the under marine region, what happens? There extremely increased pressure will be there. Whenever the sea divers are using this normal air, so what happens under that extreme high pressure? Nitrogen able to dissolve in their blood. Blood now mixed up with this nitrogen. Okay. So what happens when they are coming outside of that marine region? They are on the open floor, open terrestrial region. What happens? Nitrogen will slowly becoming blood insoluble and will be separated from that. Wherever nitrogen got coming up, that particular region is able to generate the bubble, because there is a vacancy, that there is a gap which able to generate the air bubbles. Whenever such air bubbles are generated in the blood, that gives rise to a severe impact on the human body, are said to be bend. So bending of that particular region is possible. Air in the oxygen cylinder used for diving is diluted with the helium. Whenever it is mixed up with the helium, so that interference of nitrogen with the blood will be completely avoided, and helium, being it is inert, will not react with the blood, so that blood insoluble, it will not be reacted, and it is safe for sea diving, right? This is the way we can go for diving, by dissolving helium in the respiration oxygen, right? So we have to avoid this nitrogen. Nitrogen, whenever present, what happens? It having tendency to mix up with the blood and provide the adverse impact on the human body, right? For question number 5, option number 1 is the correct answer. Move on to question number 6, last question of the session, collected from the inorganic chemistry, especially related with the chemical bonding, right? In which of the following hybridization of the central atoms and the species about the bromine trifluoride, bromine pentafluoride are correctly matched? ఈ క్రింది వాటిలో దేని యందు బ్రోమిన్ ట్రైఫ్లోరైడ్, బ్రోమిన్ పెంటాఫ్లోరైడ్లకు సంబంధించి కేంద్ర పరమాణువుల సంకరీకరణాలు, జ్యామితిలు సరిగ్గా జత చేయబడ్డాయి? ఓకే. Bromine trifluoride is said to be sp3 dehybridization, and it is called bent T-shaped molecule. T ఆకారంలో ఉంటది. Bromine pentafluoride, which is said to be sp3d2 and square pyramidal in nature. Let me show a clear explanation for that one. Bromine trifluoride is of sp3 dehybridization. sp3 dehybridization, what should be the shape actually? Trigonal bipyramidal should be there. Geometry must be trigonal bipyramidal. But they are saying T-shaped or trigonal T-shaped molecule in addition to the trigonal bipyramidal. Why it is said to be a T-shaped one? Because among 5 bonds, 2 bonds are accompanied by the lone pair of electrons only. All 5 bonds are not purely covalent bonds. Rather, 3 bonds are formed with the fluorine and 2 bonds are non-bonding. They are not bonded with anything. These are called lone pair of electrons. Hence, so these electrons present on the bromine only. So if you observe, this exactly looks like a T-shaped one, right? This is regarding what bromine trifluoride. Move on to bromine pentafluoride. Penta means 5. 5 fluorines are there. It is participating in sp3d2 hybridization. Whenever sp3d2 hybridization is there, octahedral geometry must be there. But Among six bonds, one of the bond is accompanied by the lone pair only. No bonded atoms are there, so that it lays on the bromine. Hence, we can find only five bonds, so the shape will be what? Square pyramidal. I'm said to be square pyramidal. This is the way a clear description is provided. Bromine trifluoride is sp3d, but a T shape will be there because of two lone pair of electrons laying on this bromine. Bromine pentafluoride having sp3d2 hybridization, but one of the lone pair electron of the is there, so that it will be a square pyramidal. This is the way question number 6 can be answered. We should have the awareness regarding electrons present in that. What is the concept of hybridization? After the hybridization, how the atoms are binding? What is the role of lone pair of electrons? What is the difference between the geometry and shape of the molecule? If you know each and everything, then only we can answer this type of questions. By this, the entire session was completed and covered with the extensive organic reaction mechanism. IUPAC nomenclature is taken in specific, and also inorganic chemistry part is discussed. Physical chemistry questions also taken into the consideration. This is the way the content is moving on. Hopefully, this is more informative for your extensive preparation, either examination of entrance or competitive exam as well. Hence, I'm requesting you to like the channel, comment which is important towards your preparation, and share with your parents. Subscribe the channel, and thank you very much for your patient listening.